Hey guys, what's going on and welcome to a brand new video. And with it fresh in our minds, I think we have to talk about Ilan Melia. We need to talk about him because I want a new goalkeeper now. I don't think we'll get a new goalkeeper, and I think we'll have to persist with Melia or Darlow. If Darlow has a good game against Harrogate when he comes in, he might come in and be the starting keeper. Maybe. Fuck said something after the game in the press conference after the game, basically saying that no one's not able to be dropped, even the captain, which for me shows maybe he's about to drop him for Darlow and give Darlow a chance in the number one behind the sticks. But even with that, even though he had a good loan spell at Hull, when we've seen, I just don't know if I can trust him. I don't know if I trust Darlow. That's the thing. I don't know if I trust him. I'm worried because I think we need a new number one. And for me, are we going to either wait until next season? Because I think if we sign a keeper now, they're not going to be fully ready for next season to start in the Premier League, where I think if we do get promoted, we're going to have to sign a new keeper anyway. So are we just going to persist with these keepers that we have, Melia and Darlow? I mean, Cairns as well, but Melia and Darlow, the main two. Are we just going to persist with them and have to go through the whole season? Because our defence is that strong that I think we'll be fine and still go up. But the thing is could it cost us too many points by that end of the season? It's still a possibility that's what's going to happen. Now let's talk about Melee and go on about it, and we can talk about it in the future if it gets closer and we're close to the end of the season and it's very close. But let's talk about him because there's 4 games I want to talk to you guys about games where he's been not the only reason, but a big reason why we have dropped points. I mean, the opening game of the season, I had to watch some highlights and the goals just to make sure I was right on what happened. I mean, the first goal in the first game of the season that we conceded, it's straight at him and he tries to save and it goes flying. He gets his hands to it and it goes in the back of the net. Very poor keeping there. And you're thinking, okay, it's only the first game of the season. That did end 3-3, but the other 2 goals are not his fault. It's a one distract with the second goal, and the third goal was a penalty. So you can't blame him for those 2, but the first goal was one you can really blame him. And in that game, he got a 6.2 rating. He wasn't very good in that performance, as you guys would know. Duh. I mean, that first goal, his goals prevented was minus 1.65 in that game. Minus 1.65 goals prevented. He was a poor performance. He only made 1 save in that game as well here. He made 1 run out, which was successful. And that's basically all we can talk about. His passing accuracy was 27 out of 32 as well in that game. He had not a great game and a pretty poor game, to be honest. If you look at the goal prevented and you look at minus 1.65, that's just not good enough. And that was the first mistake, the first big mistake in a game. I might have missed some games. If you guys want to let me know in the comments down below if I missed some important moments in some other games, because I saw a tweet where someone said he could be part of the at fault. I'm only talking about the ones where, in my opinion, he's fully at fault. Or not solely fully at fault, but a massive, massive part of why we conceded those goals and why we dropped those points. But someone said on Twitter that he could actually be part of the reason badly of why we conceded almost 90% of our goals. And you think about it and go, which goals can you think about that weren't oh, we should have done better there? There's been a couple of, wonder strikes that we've seen, like the opening game as I talked, and probably some other good strikes where you're fair play, you're not saving that. But he's got to do better with a lot of shots, a lot of goals that have actually gone in. The next game, of course, was the heartbreak at Sunderland we have to talk about. That was the next game, the Sunderland game, where he threw the ball in the back of his own net. So this performance wasn't actually bad until that moment. If you actually remember, he actually had a good performance, in my opinion, until that moment. I thought he played well. He made 3 saves in that game. Goals prevented was minus, again, 0.16. So another game where he's minus, but that's because he threw the ball in his own net. I thought overall in that performance he was actually good and he had a good game until he did that moment and basically just threw away the 3 points himself. So yeah, I was very angry at that. I think we all were. In this game, his accurate passing was even worse. I didn't think he played bad, but this makes it sound way worse. He had 15 passes successful out of 34, a 44% in a game. That's not good enough for your goalkeeper. It's got to be better than 44% kicking accuracy. He won 2 out of 2 ground duels, and he won 3 out of 3 aerial duels. So his performance wasn't it wasn't a bad performance from Melia. I thought he actually had a decent performance in that game. He had 1 error led to goal, which was him throwing the ball in his own net. He had 2 saves inside the box, and 2 high claims. And I thought performance-wise in that game, he was actually good. Besides the biggest moment where he blew away the 3 points of This is why we can't trust him. This is why I don't trust him, because our defense is so strong, and I've said this, our defense is so good. Imagine this was a weaker defense. Imagine this defense was weaker. We'll concede a lot more goals, in my opinion. That's the second one. Now we get to the third one, which is the Preston game. Yep, the Preston game. When they had a good attack, they played it across. I can't remember who scored, but the whole point is Mele gets his full hand to it, and it just drips, it bobbles into the back of the net. He gets his full hands to it, and it still goes in the back of the net. You got to save that. He made one save in this entire game with a 0.43 minus, minus 0.43 goals prevented. One run out, which was successful. 44 touches. Hey, his passing accuracy was actually better in this game, with a 26 out of 34 being 76%. Successful long balls. He made 11 long balls, and 3 of them were successful. Yeah, but that was another goal where you have to save it, and that also cost us points in the end, because we drew that game 1-1. I mean, we should have lost that game, really, if it wasn't for luck at the end. If it wasn't for luck at the end, it would have been 3 points dropped. And that's the third performance I wanted to talk about. That was, you know, you have to make the save. And that one is 100% you got to make the save, because you got his both full hands to it. You have to. And last but not least, of course, is the most recent performance, the one that we're raging about. 3-1 up and coasting against Hull City. Then all of a sudden, Melia tries to hit it over. I don't know what he tried to do. Catch it, I guess? It was already going over the bar. It was already going out of play for a goal kick, in my opinion. It might have hit the bar, but even if it does hit the bar, then you just jump up and catch it. You let it hit the bar, and then you jump up and catch it. Because it wasn't going out of speed, where if it hit the bar, it was going to fly back into, like, the middle. It wouldn't have went that far. Just wait for it to bounce, and then jump and catch it. That's all he had to do, in my opinion. He made 3 saves in this most recent game. Goals prevented was minus 0.02, so goals prevented was actually good in this game. Surprisingly, I thought it would be a lot worse with the minus 0, with it only being minus 0.02. I thought it would be way more. Saves from inside the box, 1. Errors led to goals, 1, which was that. And then even on the third goal, I can say it's kind of a fault for it. He should do better. I mean, that was just an all-round team performance, but it all went to shit. It all fell apart because of Elan Melia and that moment where he didn't make the save. His accurate passing wasn't bad in this game, actually. It was probably one of his better passing accuracies. 19 out of 23, which is an 83%. Probably one of his better games at it. Yeah. Long balls, he made 6 of them, with only 2 being accurate. And yeah, that's about all I can say about the stats-wise of these games. But performance-wise, he just worries me so much. I don't have faith in him making saves, and I think we all have that right now, and we all have that with Melier. We don't think he's going to actually make the saves that he needs to make for us to win these games, and that's why I think we need a new keeper. All the mistakes that have come this season that have dropped us points, Melier has been a big part of that. Melier has been a massive part of that, especially with how actually good our defense is. Imagine we had a keeper that could make saves. We would be probably so much higher up in the table. We'll be probably 7 points clear. I think someone said, so if you add the 3 points that we should have got from Sunderland, so that's an extra 2 points. The Preston game would have been 3 points instead of 2, so that's an extra 4 points. Yeah. And the most recent game would have been another 2 points. That's 6 extra points. We're 3 points clear right now. That's 9 points. That's 9 more points. That's 6 more points, sorry. But we would have been 9 points clear at the top of the league, I think. Wait. 6. No, we would have been 7 points. Sorry. What did I say? 9? I think I got something mixed up. I think I added the 3 instead of the 2. We would have been 7 points clear at the top of the league instead of 1. And not only are we 1, if Sunderland win their game in hand, I don't know when they play. I think they play tomorrow. But when they do play, actually probably today when you're watching this video, I'm not quite sure. But when they do play, if they win, or the game might have already been played. Anyway, if they do win, they're 3 points behind us. So we're going to have 4th place Sunderland being 3 points behind us. We're going to have 3rd place being 2 points behind us. No, sorry, 1 point behind us. And the team in 2nd are on the same points as us. So we have Sheffield United, Burnley, and Sunderland breathing down our necks. And this is not what we wanted. We wanted to be clear because we're Leeds United and we know what we do at the end of seasons when it's very close. We normally bottle it and be Leedsy, which I'm worried about at the moment, being 3 points away from 4th. Like, imagine we lose a game, right? And then Sunderland win. Yeah, Sunderland win, Burnley win, and Sheffield United all win, and we lose. Imagine that happens in the next game week. Let's just say we would be on the same points as Sunderland and third. So this is very worrying for me going into it. We need a new keeper. I'm sorry. I like Melier, and I think he's been good for the time at the club. I think mentally he's gone. I think mentally he's out of it. I think mentally, for a keeper needs to be mentally strong. I think he's out of it. And yeah, I think we need a new keeper. You guys all probably agree with me. If you guys like the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you all next time. Peace.